Good volume wise. Let's do that. Right, I'm getting a cup of tea, and then I'll be here. Good job, Binary Cheese, for being the first to say hello. That's what it looked like to me, anyway. Love you, Sirgelions. Love you, Ash. Love you, Blake. I'm not sure if I do love you. Dalamars, you're the best. This is now true. Is now true. Sorry, I posted on my Discord that I was live, and I wasn't, and I just got live. Because I'm the worst. I will be back in a second. Feel free to ask questions with question in brackets while I'm gone, and then when I get back, I will try and answer them. But, you know, I'm not a CIG dev. I've got access to most of the same information you do, although I do poke and prod and research a lot. Oh, thank you. Fucking love you, Mantis. Be right back. I'm back. You can hear me scampering in the background. Scampering. Everything aches. Hey. The sound of me sitting down. Old BoredGamer. Old BoredGamer. Hello. Let me click on some of these things. Let's do this. That's pretty good, eh? You can see me. And my powerful, wide self. I'm not a fat man. But I am quite a wide man. Yeah. Deal with it. How's everyone doing today? You good? Bad? In between? Excited for things? Are you not excited for other things? Did you see Inside Star Citizen? We will look through some of that, I suppose. We've just released a video going over the 3.7 FPS mining gameplay. FPS mining, I've realised, is probably a really bad way of describing that form of mining. It's on-foot mining, by hand mining, multi-tool mining. FPS mining, well, the other mining's still first-person and first-person shooter mining. It's just in a spaceship. Not third person, is it? I've got myself a cappuccino, which I've just made. It's a breakfast coffee, and I'm having it at 4 PM. It's fine. Don't get angry about that. We can. So I've realised that my title is more clickbait, mainly because it didn't update the title. It's the coming soon new ship. Is what it's supposed to say. So let's show this off first, so we can be less clickbaity. So, CIG released a few days ago, coming soon page, which is slowly over the last few days revealed more and more of a ship. Now, refresh this just in case there's more of it. So I suspect during this live stream that we'll get more of the ship, or maybe the ship will even go on sale, possibly. So yeah, it looks like the front end of a Connie, doesn't it? So, and there's some other stuff I'd like to talk about because you mentioned that. So it looks very much like the front end of a Connie. So maybe it's a new Constellation variant. People are suspecting it's probably the RSI Mantis, but it's possible that the Mantis is still something they're going to say for CitizenCon. The RSI Mantis is suspected to be a heavy fighter from RSI. We also saw recently in the subscriber newsletter the interior of what appears to be the Taurus. Although I suppose it doesn't necessarily have to be the Taurus, I just assume it's the Taurus. Did it say it was the Taurus in the Taurus in the subscriber newsletter? I think it did. But we got that there. And that looks pretty Constellation-like. But we know that there's been some sort of like leaks in the Concierge newsletter, also teasers that said there's something new coming from RSI, and this logo here is called the RSI Kalis, or Kalis. Maybe it's a new manufacturer. Some people are saying that this like Orby thing could represent interdiction. I mean, the way it comes out from behind an asteroid and it's a silhouette, it could be a stealth ship. The thing is we don't really know. We do suspect that between, either this weekend or next weekend, that it will, I suspect it will go on sale, whatever the fuck it is, this weekend or next weekend. But I'm sort of like curious what people think it is. It's got little aerials and things on it. It does look very much like a Constellation at the front of Constellation, but it could just be because it's RSI, and they've got the shapeology there. And we don't know how long it is. I mean, it could literally just be that length. But that could just be the tip. In the original picture of it, there was, before you clicked on it, it was a constellation here, or what it appeared to be a constellation there anyway. And now it's when you clicked on it, it became a caterpillar. So people say, we also, it's very possible that this could be straight to flyable. This could be a ship that's already ready to go in game. If it's the Mantis, then that's very likely. And it could still have some elements that aren't just straightforward fighting. So even if it's a heavy fighter, the Mantis, it could still be an interdiction or an E-War or a stealth or something like that. as more of a sort of like role to it as well. So it doesn't just need to be a straight up brawler dogfighter. And this could be an entirely different ship. But I'm curious what people think about that. I don't 100% know. I don't think anyone 100% knows other than RSI employees. Have a look. But I will link that coming soon page to you. Peace out, Board. You do great videos and live streams. I'm sure players appreciate your work for this game very much. Well, thank you very much. I get people chucking money at me all the time. Oh, Jock Cop. Speaking of people chucking money at me. Hey man, I know people think 3.7 is a little light due to the switch to staggered development, but I think there's at least two things in that will change the way the game's played. Mission sharing and rentals. Yeah, mission sharing, rentals, and, for me, major change and improvement and sort of like huge amount of gameplay is the harvestables and minables. Like, that is effectively looting while running around planets and gives people reasons to explore and just have a look around, and it isn't money gated. It doesn't matter what ship you've got, you can do that. And you can basically do the FPS mining without a prospector. Although, with a prospector, you'll probably be able to do more of it because you'll be able to detect asteroids, which will have those mineable nodes on them as well. Odd how they have these straight-to-flyable ships that come out before concepts. So, some of the straight-to-flyable ships are done because they were either needed for Squadron 42, or they had a team that's appropriate to do them. So a lot of the straight-to-flyable ones are because they're needed for Squadron 42, and they didn't have a concept sale for them because they were planned for the game. Bam! They've been working on them for a while. I don't think we're going to see too many straight-to-flyable ships that aren't needed for... I don't think we're going to see too many straight-to-flyable ships that aren't needed for Squadron 42 that come out before most of the other concept ships. See what I mean? That are specifically for the persistent universe. We will see that in the future, but in the meantime, well, will we see that in the future? No, because they'll get through all of the concept ships. I'm having a brain fart, but also working out what I think at the same time, so you'll have to deal with that. Yeah, I think that they obviously are working on concept ships for the persistent universe. Anything that's needed for Squadron 42 will come first. Then some of the smaller, easier to do ships will probably come next in concept. And yeah, you might have some concept ships which are slow to be implemented, like maybe the Endeavour, things like that, potentially. Or the Genesis Starliner, although I do actually think that they'll probably get the Genesis Starliner in sooner than we think. And they'll still have... They want to move on to this straight-to-flyable sort of like model for ships. So, yeah. Because if you've bought one of the concept ships that are taking a long time on, it's probably pretty fucking annoying. Right, what else do we have? Can I explore your cave? Is that a sexual innuendo? How inappropriate. Give that man a mod. Give him a mod sword. To go where no man has gone before. How do you know? No one knows about my sexuality. People could have been cave dive. No, not. No, let's not even go down this route. No, we're good. We're good. I'm straight. I just don't get any. Does that mean I'm still straight? Who fucking knows? I'm a hermit. What are you doing, boy? I am here streaming. Things are looking pretty good for 3.7. Lots of things are finished and in polishing. Do you think the Defender will make it or be shifted again? Oh my god. I mean... So, the idea with the new staggered development stuff is that they don't have so much stuff moving between patches. They know much earlier on if stuff is going to move, and they can meet deadlines more accurately. So, they recently said that they were delaying the Cutlass Blue so that they could get the Defender finished, hopefully for 3.7, and then the Cutlass Red done for 3.8. So I hope that it makes 3.7. they did say it was taking longer than they had hoped as well. But I mean, it would have been delayed by 9 months, over 9 months, if they drop it again, if they delay it again. So. Oh, don't say the defender's moved again, is it? Have I not noticed it moved? Let's have a look. I might not just... look. Sometimes I just don't read ships and vehicles. No. Has not moved to 3.8. I would have known if it moved to 3.8. Yeah, it's currently still in 3.7. So typically I read questions from lots of different chats, and from Reddit, and from Discord, and from YouTube, and from Twitch, and all that sort of jazz. And I sort of like pick them out sporadically sometimes. I will at some point get to a more, after, we've been streaming for a little while, I'll catch up, and then I'll be asking questions that are coming in as they come in. Do you agree we need a cluster bomb? It would greatly aid in strafing runs. Yeah, so other types of ordnance. I would like to see magnetic bombs for dropping on sort of like capital ships and that sort of stuff that fighters and fighter bombers, bombers and fighter bombers could deploy. But I'd also like to see conventional bomb ordnance for use on the ground. So cluster bombs, magnetic bombs, yeah. I'm more inclined to go towards the magnetic bombs, so that you drop them, and then when they're really close to a target, they latch on. But yeah, cluster bombs would be cool as well. Will we ever get immersive mountain ranges? I don't think they're able to do it with the engine currently, but I don't see any world engine stuff in the roadmap either. So they've been working on Planetary Tech V4 for actually quite a while. I'm not sure if that's actually displayed in the roadmap or if it's just more constant improvements to it. And they've been working on large-scale mountains and valleys and that sort of stuff. They've been doing it for a while. If you've been watching lots of the Inside Star Citizens, you would have actually seen some of the large-scale stuff they are doing with the procedural generation. I think it's just ongoing and iterative, so they get it to a state that they then go, this is now V4 for procedural generation. And I'm not sure how you're going to see it, whether it's going to be lots of little iterative changes in the game that we get, or if it's just going to be larger chunks that are obvious to us. But yeah, they are working on huge scale mountain ranges, and we sort of have them to an extent already. They're just getting better. And you will start to see the different scales of them soon. Well, I expect to see them soon, is probably a better way of putting that. You thought you kept a lot of tabs open. I've got 4 separate sets of tabs open. At the moment, how much? Let's have a look. 82 tabs open, and 11 gigs of memory being used. How many push-ups did you do today? I've done none today so far. I've done a 20-minute run. I've done some sit-ups. I'm in great pain. I did 32 push-ups yesterday. And a load of sit-ups and another half an hour run. I'm not doing a huge amount of exercise. I'm just doing enough so that I can lose a little bit of weight and that I don't get out of breath from going up and down stairs. I'm very sedentary. People are suggesting that I should get a standing desk. That's probably going to be significantly better for my health. I'm just not sure if I want one. Well, if I get it, and I get it all set up and I don't like it. So that picture's not the Taurus, it was a mistype. Oh. So, we could potentially have a new variant of the constellation. Sort of like a stealth or an E-War one or an interdiction one. Yeah? Someone said it was going to have bounty hunting capabilities as well for that coming soon ship. Okay. The Constellation bridge is awesome. It would also be nice if it's a new RSI ship with a similar bridge layout. I mean, if it's an RSI ship, then they're going to have lots of components that look the same. You kids want some spaceships? Do you think we need a 4-seater version of the 805X that can carry a small bit of cargo if the rear seats are not being used? I mean, so the problem is when you keep on expanding out Snubcraft, they're not Snubcraft anymore when they get to a certain size. The 85X is sort of like a specialist ship in the fact I believe it's got a quantum travel, a quantum drive, even though it's effectively a snub. Yeah, so with the new FPS mining and cave mechanics, they're not money gated. That's huge. That's such a good thing. Like, if you're having an alpha and you want us to test it, you want us to give feedback, don't gate things. Don't gate the prospector. And yeah, we can buy the prospector in game, and it's actually not too hard to get a prospector. Even if you've got a starter ship, you can do it over. You can do it comfortably if you're playing Star Citizen semi-regularly in the period of time before a reset happens. It depends on how quickly they reset it. Typically it's every 3 months, but obviously they've had mini patches in between these which have reset stuff as well, which has made it a bit more difficult recently. But obviously with ship rentals, that's not going to be so much of an issue. I hope the Mantis will have size 3 quantum travel. It's probably going to be size 2 if it's a heavy fighter. Up to a size 2 if it's a heavy fighter. I think the sort of escort fighter is supposed to be like the Banu Defender. And I suppose Vanguards, maybe? Yeah, so random points of interest, random encounters, random events while we're playing. That's, I believe, going to be happening after they've got the first couple of stages of the dynamic mission system in. Sort of like is part of that. There is a huge, big difference between the beautiful vistas of a moon surface that is worth a few screenshots and the same vista that might bear hidden treasure somewhere yet unseen. This is true. How's your face feeling today? I'm feeling okay. I had quite a lot of caffeine. Did they ever see when they're going to remove the server wipes every patch yet? They talked about it recently. They didn't give us any hard dates. But basically what they said is that they can actually roll out some persistence, some server-side object container streaming stuff, and potentially some of the tech towards server meshing in stages and decoupled from other bits of that tech. So one of the things they said was that they could potentially, and should be able to, at some point in the not-too-distant future, save your progress with the amount of alpha UBC have and your ships that you've bought and your changes to those ships between patches. They can reset lots of other data, but you can actually keep progression of those things from patch to patch. And I think that is a great middle ground that everyone would be happy with in the short to medium term. Didn't get when, but that could be before the end of this year. And some of the tech behind server-side object container streaming they can put in, and potentially that would allow for some of the stuff from the planets, larger gameplay area. We know they're working on it. Any idea when the economy will stop being wiped? Honestly, can't fathom grinding as a Mustang and Aurora Flyer, as I don't have much time to play per day. I refer you to my earlier answer. Do you think there will be any missile launchers in-game that let the player guide the rocket? So, guide the missile. It wouldn't be a rocket. Rockets are effectively, well, not dumbfire, but you know what I mean. Is it dumbfire? Like, rockets go in a straight line-ish. Missiles can be either controlled or are guided in some way. So, we know there's the Animus missile launcher. I'm not sure if it just locks on or if you can guide it sort of like Half-Life 2 styly. Or Half-Life styly. I suspect it locks on and fires. Maybe you can guide it. Don't know. I don't suspect it's too complicated for them to have that. Question: do you think there will be beam weapons in Squadron 42? Probably. We know there's going to be beam weapons in Star Citizen. The Idris K, for example, it's a little package that gives it the Idris A beam weapon as one of the things, a traditional beam weapon. And I suspect we'll see them in Squadron 42 as well. And obviously, effectively, the mining lasers are kind of beam weapons as well. Have you seen anything new on base building or with the Pioneer? No. I believe that the land claim mechanics and some associated gameplay with land claim mechanics are reasonably high on the priorities list of the backlog for stuff. At the end of 2018 was originally when they wanted to get some land claim gameplay in, and then after land claim gameplay it would be more likely to have building bases and the Pioneer and stuff, but that's probably further out. So yeah, I think that we'll have Evocati for 3.7 this weekend. Obviously that will be a... you'll probably see leaks on the Reddit and stuff, but I won't be able to talk about the specifics of the Evocati patch beyond saying, yeah, it's released, probably. I think that's still fine to do. Typically the CIG sort of announce when it goes live. When it goes to Evocati. The plan is to have 3.7 live by the end of this month. We'll have to see whether that's going to be met. I think 3.8 is probably the first real patch in the Staggered development process, so I'm still hoping that they can hit the deadlines and stuff for 3.7 though, because that does set it on a much better sort of like tone and note, the way they're doing Staggered development now. Did Salvage not get moved back, or am I going crazy? Yes, Salvage is no longer in 3.8. I believe Salvage is now in 4.0. Yeah, Salvage has now been pushed back to 4.0, Q2 2020. And that's to make way for caves, FPS mining, prison gameplay, extended lore system. And with those prisons, so with the prison gameplay that they're building into the lore system, basically, if you're bounty hunted, or, well, if you're bounty hunted and you're a criminal, or if you get killed when you're a criminal, in the short terms, the idea is that if you've hit a certain sort of crime rating in that, you'll be put in prison, and there'll be prison gameplay related to that. And they'll be using cave tech mixed with some sort of like the modular pieces of maybe space stations, maybe the underground bunkers, maybe some bespoke prison assets to make a procedural prison. Now, I actually think these are going to be embedded not just on the ground and moons, but probably in asteroids. That makes a lot more sense to me, having sort of asteroid prisons. It's sort of maybe Grimhex crossed with caves, with more caves. Hey Board, how do you think that CIG will incorporate the Bounty Defender with the Merchantman? So I think it's going to have, they've said there's going to be interactivity between the two ships, something special. I suspect it's going to be light docking, so you'll be able to somehow dock your Bounty Defender with the Merchantman, and that will allow you to either, quantum travel with the Merchantman without expending your own quantum fuel, but also it might allow for some light repair, refuel, and rearming. That's my expectation with that. Has there been any updates on whether the Merchantman will have a hangar bay? Nope. I'm unaware. How long is the coming soon thing going to last? I don't really know. I would expect it to probably end today, and then reveal something for sale. Well, between now and next Friday would be my expectation. So I would expect to see a ship on sale either today or next Friday, and yeah, that makes sense, right? Oh my god, if it was the Polaris, if they just go, and it's the Polaris is ready, I would fucking cream myself. Yeah, I've got so behind me is a proper electric running machine, and weights and stuff like that. And what I'll do is, because I'll be getting Brexit has made it much more able for me to buy my own house more easily. Because the UK economy is crashing, so they need to encourage people to borrow money, and I get paid in dollars. So So what I'll probably do is get a house, but I'll have a gym in there. I might make it a VR room and gym. I need to keep healthy, and I don't like leaving the house, so... Didn't they used to have bounty hunting update for 3.7, like bounty hunting armor and captives? So, bounty hunting has moved to 3.9, with lots of associated gameplay. So we've got the bounty hunting armor sets, which will be available to purchase, but also you'll see NPCs wearing them. They've expanded out the bounty hunting gameplay with lots of mission improvements. You'll see NPCs and some of the missions have you track bounties. They'll try and jump up quantum travel away, stuff like that. There's going to be PvP bounties as well. I'm assuming that's also going to be the ability, this is an assumption, that you'll be able to put bounties on other players' heads. Or that they'll be issued based on missions that they do. Great app, you are your own gym. Okay, Renegast. Let me add that to my... No, I don't want to put it in that document. My recovery document. So I think the reason people think the Coming Soon ship is an RSI ship is because the code in the page. So, bring this back up on screen. My face. So the reason people think this is an RSI ship is because this logo in the code is called the RSI Kalis. Though that could just literally be because the page is RSI. You know what I mean? It could be a Tyler red herring or just naming conventions. But also in the recent concierge newsletter, they literally said there's something new going from RSI. So we assume that it's this. This could be the Mantis. This could be a new constellation variant. Yeah, I think it looks very much like the front of a Connie, but it could just be because it's, you know, RSI. It looks very much like the front of an RSI ship. It's an autonomous convertible desk. It does both. I usually sit down in the morning and stand up after lunch. Yeah, that is probably what I would get. I will go around someone else's house that's got a standing desk and see what it's like. Assuming that I like it to any degree, I will go, fucking great, I'll get a convertible one. Do not apologise for being late for my trash streams. Thank you very much. I appreciate the love. I do get a lot of love from people, and I do appreciate that. I hope that... So, I think that what I try to do on my channel is try to stay informed of Star Citizen news, speculate based on educated guesses and what's available in for us from the news, and look at statistically or historic data to say, well, I think the Vanguard patch 3.7 is probably going to go live today. It might not. It might be early next week, or something like that. But I would expect it today. I mean, that makes the most sense. Originally, when I started talking about Star Citizen, I did no speculation, and I did loads of speculation, and now I do stuff in between. I talk about a lot of regurgitation of the news, a lot of speculation on what some stuff might be, and talk about my opinions on things. And I hope that's what people wanted. I think my channel's grown, and that's sort of like suggested that's what people wanted. Thank you very much, Binary Cheese, for becoming a YouTuber member. Very much appreciated. 3 stars. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So bored, the $100 million question, I see what you're asking, is when do you think we'll see the Banu merchantman? I think we'll see some of the work on it later on this year. I think we could see it next year. In-game next year. I know I'm not going to be more accurate than that. Adek Kader, I love your face. You're one of my favourite people. What the fuck? What is this? Why have you got a BoredGamer face with glasses on? How have you put sunglasses on it? I didn't have sunglasses on it. What's going on? So yeah, 3.7 has more things to mine effectively, but that's because you can now get a mining tool, put an attachment on it, get it from Tammy and Sons and potentially some other places, and then you can nom up small mineable nodes, which are different from the large mineable nodes that ships will go after with that tool. And some of those nodes might appear on the larger minables. So you'll scan an asteroid with a prospector, and there'll be these small nodes on it, and you could just nom up the big asteroid, but you'd lose the smaller nodes. They'd break up or not be taken by the ship. But what you can do is EVA out of your prospector, nom those up, and then destroy the asteroid with the prospector. But obviously you can find these smaller mineable nodes in caves. Good morning, potatoes! You alright, Big Tater? Love your fucking face, mate. When can we expect proper E-War gameplay to show up on the roadmap? I don't know. So I think it's going to be sort of semi-iterative. So we'll see distortion weapons and EMPs work a bit better first, and get a bit more balanced, make a bit more sense in the game. And then we'll probably see scanning get a lot more updates. And then they'll start to look at more signature control, stealth, and then E-War, combining all of those things together. Because obviously there's hacking as well, and sort of like the mixture of being able to spoof signatures potentially, being able to adjust your signatures, being able to disrupt other people's scanners, all that sort of stuff needs the other systems to be there first before they work on E-War. And E-War is sort of like a collection of lots and lots and lots of different things coming together, in my opinion. I think that's the same with all of the mechanics in Star Citizen. They add like smaller little tasks and little bits. And eventually that becomes an actual full gameplay loop mechanical role. The ship, it makes sense that it would be the Mantis, purely based on the teasers. They are ambush predictors and hold their prey so they can consume it. Interdiction, play at its finest. Yeah, so interdiction, webifying, that's what we need for ships. We need to prevent ships from being able to go into quantum travel, and we need to be able to slow them down. I want to see proper interdiction mechanics in game. That's not just, oh, this NPC ship can do quantum interdiction. It needs to be player side, or both player and NPC side, obviously. And I need to know what does it and why. So you can have a ship that's specific for it. You can have an item that's specific for it. But tell us more about it. Get in the game. Is having more than one gameplay package on an account going to be beneficial somehow when the game goes live? We don't 100% know. It was speculated before, and sort of like mentioned by CIG, that it might give you the ability to have multiple characters on an account, but we're not sure at the moment. Oh, fuck me! Not you, Raging Sage. Thank you very much for the sub, Raging Sage. Thank you very much, AG. Just thought I'd pop in. Sorry for being late. Been getting tons of applications from the ship giveaway. Glad we could finally figure that all out. Oh my god, AG. AG, I love you. So AG is a representative of the Org Ultra, who are donating the ship for my giveaway this month. And let's fucking bring up their Org. See, look, you're making me stutter because you're giving me so much fucking money. Oh my god, I'm sorry that I'm so sweary as well. That was caught me off guard. Thank you very much for the $200. I don't know what I do. I just talk about Star Citizen. I love you so much. Thank you so much. So Ultra, they're an org. Fucking check them out, mate. They allow you to be the man you want to be, or woman. Boom. Dar, you legend. Actually, AG, what we should do is get an interview with your org at some point in the next couple of weeks, if that's cool. We'll talk about it on the Discord. I should give you an org spotlight. And also, if I don't do org spotlights regularly, I just never do them. And what I want to do is I want to get at least 2 org spotlights done a month, preferably 4. And they're not going to be gated by people giving me ships or anything, or donating. I just want to do more and more org spotlights. It's good content, allows me to get more involved in the community, allows me to make more friends and get better networking, and then it makes my channel look, more community facing. And that, from a selfish point of view, that's why I do it. It doesn't need to be, give me giveaway ships. That's not how I speak, but you know what I mean. Maybe it is. fucking love you, AG. Thank you so much. Oh. Do it. When do you think 3.7 is coming to live? I suspect it's going to be planned to come live at the end of this month. That's what the planned date for it is. Do you think when people storm Area 51, they will find Chris Roberts already waiting for them? I don't think people are going to properly storm Area 51. There was those Dutch YouTubers that just got sentenced to a year, a delayed sentence. So, was it delayed sentence? Suspended sentence. So they're not actually going to serve more than 10 days in county jail. But they trespassed on Area 51 within the last few days. It's an active military base, okay, where there are potentially secrets there, military secrets. There's unlikely to be aliens or anything weird like that, but it's an active military base, and if people try and storm it, that's going to go badly for them. It will be defended like a military base. It's a silly meme, but I don't want people to, endanger themselves. I think there's a music festival nearby as well that people are probably going to attend, and that will be a more enjoyable way of, celebrating Area 51. If anyone here is thinking of joining that, just be careful and don't be stupid. What do you think of the next land vehicle that you expect to see released? Lynx Rover. I'd like to see on concept a light tank and a military APC. But I suspect we'll see ground vehicles for a lot of the roles in Star Citizen, so like salvage, repair, things like that. Do you think they're still working on some of the 890 jump bugs, or have they fully moved on now? They're always going to work on bugs and stuff like that. Like, they're never going to fully moved on from any ship. Not until, well, even after release, they'll probably still do balance and light reworks. Sorry, light updates, not reworks. So they constantly are improving their lighting tech, their texture and material stuff, the techniques for ships, and uncovering bugs and trying to fix bugs. That's going to be true of all ships. Some ships get a bit more of a rework than others, though. But that's going to be happening a lot less going forward. Arcave's going to be going in all moons and planets, apart from Arcacorp. Probably. There may be a reason that some moons and planets don't have them in the future. Gas giants, for example, probably won't have caves. Water planets probably won't have caves, although maybe they'll have that underwater gameplay at some point. Ship rentals will be a huge improvement and real enabler to opening up more testing of different mechanics. Do you think it will be daily rentals, weekly or longer? So they talked about it a while ago, and they said they hadn't decided on how they were going to do it for the first iteration, whether or not you'd have 1, 3, 5 or 7 days rental or month rental or whatever, or you potentially would be able to choose between them. So I don't know, but probably a choice between the amount of time you rent them for, and then those ships will count as you owning them for that period. What's the point in the Prospector when all the best stuff's only mineable by hand? That's not going to be true. There are two different types of mining. There's going to be stuff to mine by hand in addition to Prospector mining, and the Prospector is going to be able to detect asteroids and minables, and then go to those locations, and then some of those minables are going to have the small FPS nodes attached to them. You'll be able to discover them more easily with a Prospector, and then mine them by hand, and then mine the whole asteroid up with the Prospector. What I want the Prospector's role to be in the future is entry-level ship mining, but also prospecting, finding minables for the Orion, finding minables for mining fields for players to mine by hand as well, in addition to that ship mining as well. Excited for caves. It will give FPS players a place to find players. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. We need more and more points of interest in the game. We need things to loot, things to harvest, reasons to explore, and 3.7 gives you a huge amount of gameplay, a surprisingly large amount, especially with how much it was cut down. So, I'm doing fine, thank you very much. Do you think they will tell us what this new ship is today? I'm hoping so. BoredGamer, my boy! You're right, Heavy Bob. Why are you so happy? Why are you so capitalised? What is going on? You just got spammed in DM. Wait, what? What? Do you think when people store... We've already talked about that. Has anyone bought this 72 crew members ship? What? What do you mean? I've got a Javelin. Probably more than 72 crew. I didn't buy it though. I got it for referrals. For shilling! A shill. What's it like to be loved by all of us, Bored? I'm not universally liked. I see occasionally people just going, BoredGamer should kill himself. And then making up lies about me randomly on the Reddit and Spectrum and stuff. Typically people defend me aggressively, and they don't want that. And people are entitled to their own opinions, people are entitled to say what they want. And when it comes to baseless claims of, BoredGamer doesn't know what he's talking about, well, actually that's probably a less than baseless claim. That's probably fine. That's probably accurate in some of the stuff. I do speculate on things. I think that's fine. I think that my predictions will probably be more accurate than most of the people saying that, though. I think it's fine. You know, people are entitled to their opinions. It's all good. When is Salvage coming? 4.0 is when it's now speculated to come on the roadmap, which is Q2 2020. So, we're thinking that there's going to be more revealed at the coming soon in, what, 15 minutes time? Okay. Bored, just want to say thanks for the hard work you do for us and keeping us up to date with Star Citizen. I never miss an episode. Oh, thank you very much. You can get it at any time on YouTube. That's the joy of YouTube, eh? What I do for work isn't particularly... It's not a huge amount of effort. It's pretty time consuming for research, getting notes together, and then recording and editing. Well, it's not editing, it's more the actual compiling of the video. But I really love what I do. And when I get Zin working for me, then I should be able to do effectively twice the amount of content. But a lot of that will come in the form of streaming as well, a lot more. Why are they not respecting this goal? It costs more for us to buy another ship. They simply buying a module and adding it costs more to upgrade components of more than one ships. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused by the statement there. We don't know how interdiction is going to work exactly. It might be a component, it might be a ship, it might be a module, it might be all of them. Do you think we could get an estimate of how long CIG are thinking until a persistent universe beta at some point? Okay. If you poll backers, guesses range between 2 and 15 years. Okay, it depends. Number one, you have to define what you mean by beta. If you're talking about feature complete, a long fucking time based on the features they've currently got planned. So it would be worth breaking Star Citizen down into what we consider something that would be reasonable to be described as a beta, and then talk about how long it would take to get there. If you're talking about permanent progression, some of the core of the game in there, and then them adding more and more gameplay features on that, I think you could probably have that potentially by the end of 2021. So that wouldn't be considered a traditional beta, and still very much be early access, because betas were traditionally supposed to be feature complete. I go on very well with Rexilla. I think he's quite funny. I do think some of his personas put on for, for entertainment sake in a good way, and not saying he's fake or any fucking thing like that. What I'm saying is that he's not constantly shouty all the fucking time at everyone. That is very much his in-game persona. and I quite enjoy it for that. It means I can sort of like play around with that. Yeah, there's a lot of content creators I want to get involved with to play games with. Oh, AG, you helped keep the game alive all this time, whether you realise it or not. I mean, you created a community for this game upon which other Star Citizen communities are flourishing. Don't sell yourself short, my friend. Oh my god. Thank you for the money. Very much appreciated. I've got like a smirk because you send me so much money. Thank you so much. Genuinely appreciate it. I know that I've got a fucking lovely community. Like 99% of my viewers are absolutely fantastic people and give me a load of love. You don't need to be super positive all the time though, and you certainly don't need to fucking agree with me. You can enjoy my stuff or even not like my stuff and watch it, and you can have a differing point of view from me and say, no, actually I think that's wrong, or call me out and stuff. That's all cool. That's fine. I'd rather not ever have like a echo chamber where it's sort of like, oh, whatever you think, bored. I don't think really content creators really want that. Once you get past a certain age, you don't want the sort of like blind popularity thing. I am very much so. If I ever had a politics channel, it would be very, very neutral in its political take, and I'd probably ask loads of different people their opinions and stuff. That's what it would be. It'd be like, oh, so you're extreme left or extreme right or whatever. Tell me why you're like that. Tell me what you think. Tell me why you think that. And I wouldn't challenge them in a sort of like, you're wrong kind of way. I challenge them in a way sort of like, okay, I want to know what you think and why. Give me the fucking rundown. I like the idea of exposing people's ideas and stuff to the world so that you can call out stupid ideas. So you can expose them for being good ideas or bad ideas or in between or certain elements of good and bad. And that's what I like to do with, if I do gaming stuff as well. I mean, it's sort of like, it's okay to be wrong. It's okay to have your mind changed. And it's okay to, talk about and discuss stuff. And there's no shame in getting something wrong either. Don't necessarily need to apologise for your opinions and stuff like that either. Even if they are brutally wrong. You can go, okay, well, I'll just change my mind or, whatever. I'm pretty chill. Not chill while I'm playing Apex Legends, I'll tell you that. When someone's fucking... the hit prediction in that game rages me the fuck out. When will 3.7 PTU be available? I suspect that we'll have Eva Cardi 3.7 today, and then wider PTU next week. Do you think they'll make a supersized mineable node that will take multiple mining ships or a huge mining ship to mine? Well, there's going to be mining things for the Orion, which is a huge mining ship. It is absolutely massive. Yeah, so quite possibly there will be huge asteroids which require the Orion to break down, and then once parts of those are broken off, then maybe the Prospector can have a look, go and have a go on them. Oh shite! I love your face. I'd like to say you're the wind between my cheeks. Wow. Wow. Anytime I'm feeling down, I look at your bald head as what? As it was the monolith from 2001. You bring life to us. Num num. Thanks, bud. What the fuck? Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. I don't... Mantis today? Quite possibly. I think the coming soon ship will be revealed. Hopefully in the next 10 minutes we'll see more of it, or it will be revealed. That would be exciting if it does. And we can talk about it on stream. Stream daddy. What is this? So, they are apparently improving Star Marine and Arena Commander. I think Pirate Swarm is getting improvements soon. Potentially with 3.7, maybe. Are they doing face scanning at Citizen Con this year? I haven't heard that they are. I'm hoping that they are, but I haven't heard that they are. If they are doing face scanning, I will try and genuinely use clout to get my face scanned this year. You think at some point they will do a concept of the Origin 200i, 400i, etc., etc.? Yes. Yes, I do. The 200 series is a known thing, isn't it? Like in lore, it's known.
Because others have called you a second-tier shill. I give you
I'll read that out if people didn't hear that. Dalamars has donated. Thank you very much for the donation. Very much appreciated. I love your fucking face. Because others have called you a second-tier shield, I've given you funds to help elevate you to a first-rate one. You can do it. I have faith. Take care and keep up the good work. Love your perspective. Because it's like mine. Oh, that's... Okay, well, I try to, you know, talk it as I see it, I suppose. Everyone's going to be biased. I think I've got a reasonably good style of disseminating information. Sometimes I go into a rant, though, when I'm not entirely sure. I haven't fully thought something through. You're not, with the latency, you're not getting latency on my voice coming through, are you? It's just, I'm like 10 minutes behind on chat. I always am. I will try not to get drunk on stream. I mean, I'll drink on stream sometimes, but I will try not to get drunk on stream. I've been drunk, and I'm bipolar, and I have anxiety, so I go a bit weird sometimes. I did it a couple of times, like I've been mad, effectively on stream, or like stupid drunk, not great on other people's shows is the thing. It's fine if it's my own. Fine if it's my own responsibility if I'm on theirs. So I will try not to do that. There was the time I acted like a swan on Redacted. I was fucking wasted. Or a raptor or something. It was... Don't ask me, mate. Don't ask me. I've got mental difficulties. How we laugh, but it's true. Do you think CIG could release Squadron 42 in 2022 or 2023 without a lot of backlash if they're transparent about it? I think there'll be backlash, but I think they would require to be transparent about it. I'm hoping that we see a Squadron 42 release date coming out of CitizenCon. I think we need a 2021 release at the latest for Squadron 42 for it to avoid more backlash. My shirt is a dirty knockoff, which I think... I'm not sure if I made it. Did I make this one? I don't know. Who knows? I will be having knockoff shirts which are potentially similar to Star Citizen stuff, but you know, not similar enough to get in problems, in trouble with the legal department there. So we'll be expanding. It's probably when Zin's working for me. I'll get her to make t-shirts for me as well. She's arty. Hey, Zin, do this. Get me a triggerfish. Get me a space whale. But they are actually updating the RSI official merchandise is getting updated, and they should start to have more and more stuff on there. When will the number of players increase per server? So, there's a bit of debate about this. Potentially, when they have server-side object container streaming in, they might be able to raise player caps on servers, although they basically are saying we don't know about that until we have it. They are working on server meshing as well, and server-side object container streaming is part of this. They need that as a prerequisite to move on to server meshing. Server meshing allows them to have multiple servers running a gameplay area, so they can have each of those servers can then be limited, and then you have loads and loads more players that can seamlessly move between those servers. That will increase the amount of people on the main server up by huge amounts. So I'm expecting static server meshing to be in fully, to be in to an extent where it is increasing player server cap by next year. And potentially we could have server-side object container streaming in to some extent or fully in this year. Which would be 3.8, but I think it's more likely that they'll have just some parts of server-side object container streaming in for December. Do we know any of the other strictly explorable based secrets gameplay relating to caves? No, we know that there's a secret type of cave, or a secret cave, or something interesting cave-wise, beyond just the normal explored and unexplored caves. So there's going to be some caves that have previously been occupied, so you'll see like man-made structures and man-made loot there. and there's going to be some that are unexplored, which will have, like, you know, glow bugs or glow worms, haven't got man-made boxes and structures in, or whatever. And then there's going to be another type of one as well, which might be a prison, it might be drugs labs, it might be something like that. Oh, Dalamars, because others have called... Oh, no, that's right, we've already talked about the one. I love you, Dalamars. Robert Johnston, I love your face very much. Oh, Robert Johnston, you are one of my... I think I made both you, Robert Johnston, and AG executive producers this month. I'm not sure if I've updated your flair, but I will. I think it's very unlikely that the Urza will fit in the Pisces. Okay, we'll talk about this as well. The Pisces hangar is too shallow for it to be that big. That is a possibility. Okay, so some people said that, I think it's from Star Citizen Lakes, that they think that the Pisces may be able to move the Urza rover, may be able to pick it up and move it, which will be awesome if it is, because that makes the snub really fucking useful. But it sort of makes sense-ish, but also the hangar for the Pisces is likely to be quite small and a snub. So would you have to drop it off onto a ramp? I don't fucking know. So it's a possibility, but it might not be a sensible possibility. I like the idea of a snub being able to carry a small vehicle, though. Do we know of any... that's right. Don't you think it's a bit ridiculous that a lot of orgs dedicate themselves majority to gameplay mechanics without knowing how those will turn out in the future? I don't know. Depends what it is. I mean, a lot of Star Citizen is social gameplay. A lot of it is planning for the future. And some people just enjoy Star Citizen and sort of like frothing about it. And will evolve their orgs accordingly. We know some... We can guess and work out how a lot of the mechanics are going to work-ish. So it's going to be degrees. Some of it's going to be sensible, some of it's going to be ridiculous. I'd rather those orgs talk about that type of gameplay, though, and have those discussions now, and talk about CIG with it now, than not. What was the last bit of info you had on the Mercury Star Runner timeline? So the last bit I had, from a while ago, was that the Mercury Star Runner was going to be worked on before the Starlifter, before the Hercules. However, the Mercury Star Runner is not on the roadmap, but the Starlifter, the Hercules, is on the roadmap for 4.0. So it's possible that they went, oh, we need this for something else, we need it for Squadron 42 or whatever, and they've reprioritized it so that they've got the Hercules Star Runner as Starlifter in before they get the Mercury out. That's a possibility. Or it's also possible that the Mercury is going to come out before that, before 4.0. Someone just blew up my video while I was alt-tabbed on... Sorry. Someone just blew up my shit while I was alt-tabbed on your video. Lol. Oh my god. I feel like I've trolled you somehow. Do you recommend the Mustang Delta? It's like a starter ship. Is it a starter ship like the LN? Sort of. It is more expensive, and it is more military sort of themed. We don't know how the rocket pods, how effective they're going to be in game really yet. There's no other things to compare it to properly, and we don't know how they're going to balance them. The Mustang Alpha for me is a great starter ship, and then I almost always would suggest people move on to the Avenger Titan. Some of the odd tiered ships, sort of like the between starter and second tier starter sort of stuff, is a bit weird. Oh, I need to message the dude that does Down the Rabbit Hole. Thank you, you just reminded me. By saying about Mr. Beast, I was thinking about other YouTubers. How did you find joining Rexilla and ZDF? Would you do it again? God, yes, I'd do it again. I know some people don't like my style of gameplay and my style of videos. I know some people don't like Rexilla's style of gameplay and videos or whatever because they're like quite shouty. But I love him. I think his stuff's cool and silly, and I like it for what it is. It's just a bit silly, a bit shouty, high energy, very in your face, and anyone that I enjoy playing with, I'll play with. And I hope that I'm going to go back for much more gameplay. Also, I can steal ideas off him. Galaxy Brain. Is Avocati released? Not as far as I'm aware at the moment, but I'm hoping that we get it today. Oh, has the coming soon page been updated? Let's have a look. It might have been updated, might not have. Oh. Yeah, okay. So we've got even more of the ship. So you can see the end of the ship. So it's not a constellation. We can see that it's an RSI ship, almost certainly. Although you could argue that it could be an anvil ship. Though I think it's more RSI. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. As a silhouette. I don't think it's going to be much longer than that. I'm going to refresh again, just in case. Make sure there's nothing else on the RSI page. That's good, that's good. Nothing else there. You need to see a lot more of it. Yeah, it looks a little bit like the Vanguard, looks a little bit like the Hornet, it looks a little bit like the Constellation. I think it looks quite RSI-like, but we haven't really seen this style of ship before, I suppose, from RSI. I think it's probably the Mantis, probably an interdiction ship, probably a stealth ship, heavy fighter, probably with some other elements going on. They probably could be a interdiction ship, could be a stealth ship, could be an evil ship. You can see like bits of it here. It looks like a single main engine with. Oh no, are these engines as well? Oh, these are engines as well, probably. And we've got VTOL. Maybe it's got like oh, what is happening? Why is this a thing? What was that? Was I barbecue? Were you barbecuing my head somehow? Beautiful. Thank you. Thanks for barbecuing my head. Was that Chaos Dressing? Just what? Or was that Big Tater? I don't know who did that. Thank you. Is that the right response? Maybe. Maybe it's got like engines that rise up on the back. Maybe so you can see here. Maybe they're like elevated, like little Mantis's arms. Beep 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 beep. Maybe. I don't know, like a little waving cat. Maybe. That was weird. KS Dressing. Finally get to catch one of your streams live. Thanks for all your videos. I love your face. I love your money. Bits. Thank you. Thank you very much for watching. Very much. Potato, that is all. Thank you very much, Big Tater. I love your face. You know I do. Oh, you stars. Thank you very much. But yeah, that's probably about that size then. Well, actually, we don't really know what size that is. We have no banana for scale. But maybe we should banana for scale. Huh. Maybe it's a tracking ship or a scanning ship. I'm looking for pirates. Do we think it's the Mantis? If we want to see the latest image. Oh shit, yeah, I need to start selling my toilet water, don't I? And bath water. What else have we got here? Yeah, I think a bit bigger than Terrapin. It's like a heavy fighter. That's a slightly smaller. Quite chunky though, isn't he? He's a chunky boy. It's Friday night. Playing with us tonight, mate. I will poke you after the stream. I'll see how much work I've got to do. And basically, I'll have a watch of the Star Citizen Live and see if they release anything interesting and see if I'm free. If I am, I'd love to. Thank you very much for the invite, Adate. Very much appreciated. This music is a slow rip-off of Story of the Valkyrie. Yes, it is. It's supposed to be. Thank you very much, Robert Johnston, for giving me money to say that. Did they confirm trees and fruits and stuff coming in 3.7? Yes. So trees and fruits and stuff. So you'll be able to pick harvestables off the ground, fruit on trees. There's going to be lootables and caves, so not just the minables you'll be able to use with the mining tool, but you'll be able to pick up like server blades, other valuable objects, and put them in your personal commodity inventory as well. Lord, keep up the work you do to make my day better. When I catch your live stream, you my friend. What? Keep up the good work you do. Make my day better when I catch your stream. You, my friend, if I can be so bold to say, are a superstar in our community. Long live and prosper. Thank you very much, Jeff Hardy. That's very kind. I'm an absolute cockend if you meet me in real life. And maybe I get to meet a lot of people that I have yet to meet properly at CitizenCon this year and the day before. What else have we got? Did I order a mouse mat from CIG? No, I did not. Do you think I should? Do you think I should get one of the cool big ones for the thingamajig? The Nautilus? Or is it, the Aegis ones? They looked pretty cool actually, didn't they? When do you think volumetric clouds and atmospheres will be implemented? I think it's going to be just sort of like plopped into one of the patches in the next few quarters. And I think it's also going to have be tied in to some extent with sort of like a dynamic weather system. But Trunkboard was best on Redacted podcast. I'm not going to find out what episode of Redacted that was. Could you explain and talk about the latest facts for the Vanguard bucks? So they've made the Vanguards a lot more modular and less external changes on the hull. In fact, I think they're pretty much all the same for the loadout changes and the central module being changed. Although it depends on whether... So, for example, the Sentinel has less armor than the Harbinger, but I'm not sure if that's a literal item you can put on the ships armor-wise. Or not, and the Battlefield upgrade kits, the bucks, they are just items and modules that you can then fit to a Vanguard to effectively change its role. I'll turn my mic down a little bit. Maybe that's okay. Will my question ever get answered by BoredGamer? Yes. That's your only one. That's the only one you're getting. My head is uglier than yours, Bod. Thanks. I take compliments okay. I mean, it's just, you know. It's a weird thing, right? I don't know. I've not seen you for a lot of people, and you're saying, "Oh, you're great," and I was like, "Well, all I do is talk in front of my screen." A bit of bluntness, a bit of honesty, and that sort of stuff, and I find it quite easy to talk about stuff without shame. And people chuck ridiculous amounts of money at me, you know, and that makes it easier. Looking forward to a solid Arena Commander in 3.7, where I can spend hours playing Pirate and Vandal Swarm. I think that is a hope that you are going to be disappointed on. They need to get combat and the flight model and a lot of stuff balanced before I'm going to be enjoying Arena Commander again. And I don't think that we're going to have that this year. I think it will be better by 3.8, but I'm not sure if we're going to have an experience that's going to be like, yeah, this is fucking amazing, or anything. In June 2016, you made a video about the Drake Caterpillar. I saw a few armor sets, Spiral Light Armor, Brawler Medium Armor, and Slugger Heavy Armor. What happened to those? I think they just evolved the armor sets out more. So there's lots more different types of armor now. Do you think the new RSI ship will have a CCU? Yes. you think CIG will stop allowing us to CCU2 new concept ships in the future? I suspect that only really expensive ships and limited hull ships will be excluded from CCUs. How much do you think the new ship will cost? I don't know. Heavy fighter, between $150 to $250 would be my expectation. Unless it's got a very specific and powerful role, in which case it will be more. Alien ships and rarer ships have like an extra tax on them as well. Board, you've inspired many body doubles in the CitizenCon streaming sphere for years to come. Thanks. Ain't you just marry him? He's paid me enough. Do you think the new RSI ship... that's right, we've talked about that. I've gone up the question list. When the game is further along, what do you think fights between organisations will look like? Can we contest anything an organisation owns? Will it be like EVE Online? I think there's going to be people owning bases and strategic resources across systems. I think players will aggressively defend them and defend them. Defend and offend, attack and defend them. What? Words. They're important. And I think that, I think it will have some EVE Online sort of like org war stuff. I mean, that's what I want. I want it to be players finding stuff, selling stuff, orgs moving in, orgs dislodging other orgs, huge battles, small battles, and lots of stuff like that. Were you verified on YouTube, and have you lost your verified status? Will it affect you? So I originally I had an email yesterday, let's talk about this, which gave me a heart attack. It said, your YouTube channel is no longer going to be verified under the new system. I was like, what the fuck? Does that mean I'm not monetized? No, what it means is I'm losing my little tick. However, under the new regulations and rules, I actually should be able to get my little tick back. It means fuck all. It's just a bit of it's just a bit of YouTube just being a bit, stupid. Like, content creators, this is a verified tick to show that you're the true source of your brand, and that you've got a certain amount of subs and you are verified by us. And they've just sort of like, oh, we're taking it all away and we're giving it to what we deem is appropriate people. So, okay, well, okay. This seems a bit of a bad idea from you guys. YouTube aren't necessarily the best at protecting content creators and giving content creators incentive, and they do treat them quite badly all the time, in my opinion. Hey, Board, like your videos. Thanks. Love you, Alfred. Thank you very much for the resub. Oh, you're a star. Oh, thank you very much. Alfred and people at Delamars and people, they really help me out as well. So thank you. So, Captain Cole, the reason that I might not buy a mouse mat is because I wouldn't use it ever. I wouldn't use a mouse mat that looked cool because I'd want to keep it in pristine condition. I'm an odd collector. Given how CIG likes to show off ships and combat at CitizenCon events, do you think they might show off combat that involves boarding actions this year? Yeah, potentially. I think we'll see 3.8 and 3.9 gameplay. I think we'll see the Carrack and the Pisces. I think we'll see jump points. I think we'll see a new system, probably Pyro. I think we'll see some Squadron 42 stuff. I'm hoping we see counter ship battles. I'm hoping we see boarding actions. I'm hoping we see aliens. What do you think are blockers that keeps the Constellation Taurus from being flyable? I think that it might be dropped in to one of the roadmap updates in the not too distant future. Everyone keeps throwing money at me. BoredGamer 2019. Can we attack people with the fruit we pick, I wonder? I'm hoping... So we saw the glow stick be thrown. That's actually... Let's bring this up on screen. Just show off the new caves. This is from my video. My video. But it's just the cut down an explanation of the caves / FPS mining mechanics. So show this off. So some caves are going to have be pre-explored effectively, or have elements of human sort of like interaction there, crates, structures, that sort of stuff. There's these glow sticks which you can break and throw. Now, I'm hoping that when we throw things, if they hit people, they might potentially damage them slightly and injure them. So I like the idea of throwing rocks at people, or throwing a plush teddy bear at someone and then being on 1 health and taking them out. But the Star Citizen's not going to be hard deaths when you get hit by things in the future either. I think the plan that they want to do is to have knockdowns and bleed outs and people crawling and things like that. The coming soon ship thing silhouette's been updated. It looks much more fighter sized now, so it's very. I think we're thinking it's very likely it's the RSI Mantis. I suspect it to be a heavy fighter, but it might have some other element to it as well, like being stealth, being interdiction, being E-war, being scannery based. Why would anyone buy a heavy fighter when the F8 Lightning is going to be so awesome? I think there's going to be specific ships for specific jobs. It's going to be a bit more varied than just, this is just better. It might be better at a specific role of fighting, but it might not be as long range. It might be slower. It might be more of a tanker or a bruiser than an interceptor. It might have a really high signature and be focused on fighting rather than scanning things, rather than stealth, rather than whatever. You can literally pick up these when you destroy with the mining tool and mining attachment the small nodes. They crumble into literally just gems or whatever. And you can put in your backpack and then immediately sell. Sell when you get to a trade kiosk. A Kane heavy fighter? What? When will you finally visit Canada? I don't know. America and Canada are quite far away to me, and I hate I do not travel well. I will at some point, but I don't know when. Question, you said you were the voice of me, not the community, not the followers or your backers. So what is your position in the face of CIG? What's your opinion about their current state? So I'm quite realistic in the fact that I think that Star Citizen, although could have a very long development cycle, probably will have a lot of elements that I fucking love, and it can be a game that I play for hundreds of thousands of hours, potentially. Maybe hundreds of thousands? Tens of thousands of hours? Probably more realistic, isn't it? So, its development process is going to be long. I like the project, I like the community, I like what it does, I like how transparent they are, but I also kind of, to a small extent, like the drama and the way they resolve it and talk about it and things that happen like that. I mean, I don't like the drama, but it's a light form of entertainment for me. I don't sound like I'm too much of a prick, even though I am. So, like, CIG do wrong, and you can be critical for them for it, but they'll likely resolve that, and they will respond to it. Yeah? They'll talk about it. They'll respond to it. They'll change stuff. Now, a lot of people want me to be more angry than I actually am at things. And a lot of people want me to be less angry than I actually am at things. I'll just say what I think when it comes to more dramatic things. I'll outline the problem, I'll outline the facts, and then I'll give my opinion. I'll hold CIG to account based on what I think is reasonable to hold them to account for. With 3.8 on onwards, they said they wanted more polished products, more polished gameplay, less bugs, more of a game. Cool. I will hold them to account based on that's what them saying they wanted to do. By the way, heavy is a subjective term, in my opinion. So, heavy can mean literally physically heavily armoured and large. It can mean long range. It can mean heavily armoured. There's probably a very specific set of what CIG mean by heavy that we could probably ask about at some point. What makes a heavy fighter in Star Citizen? What makes a medium fighter in Star Citizen? How weird was it to see gameplay inside Star Citizen? So to me, this isn't really inside Star Citizen in the traditional sense. Well, I love it. I love what they do here. I'd like these to be their own separate videos, and I'd like them to be weekly as well. Like looking at gameplay mechanic. That's something I've wanted for ages. Deep dive on specific gameplay mechanics. Bam! This is fucking great content. And this is great from CIG. I can understand that. Any update on the lawsuit? So there was recently the judge has said yes. You can have 3 months extra for discovery, and we're pushing the trial date to June, I think it was. March, April, May, yeah, to June. So that gives them a longer time to get ready for discovery. Both parties, because they're going to need expert analysis and non-expert analysis of code and all that sort of jazz. But it's very, very weak. A lawsuit from Crytek now, incredibly weak. Most of their major points have been dismissed, or the major points have been dismissed, and the prevailing party, so whoever gets most, this sort of court will have to work out who it is, will have their legal expenses paid for by the others, is the idea. Although they don't have to do it immediately or anything, they can be years before they actually pay, so. How far are we with massive multi-crew ships? 5 years maybe? Is this the ideal? By that time, many company will achieve that. How the communication between hundreds of players will be? We don't 100% know. So we've seen them use capital ships before. Capital ships are obviously going to be part of Squadron 42, but they can be faked when it comes to multi-crew, because, you know, it's a single-player game. They are building lots more multi-crew features out in the coming patches that we're going to have over the next few quarters. So I think that we probably could actually have massive multi-crew stuff in 18 months or so. Do you think you're only able to pick up stuff if you have a backpack? Nope. I think you're only able to pick up stuff if you have armor on. Probably. Some armor's going to have a higher carry capacity than others. There's like the cargo vest armor, isn't there? When do you think the Endeavour will be released? A long time. It's a big science ship. It's complicated. It's got lots of modules. Doesn't need to be in game for Squadron 42 as far as I'm aware. I freaking love you, bro. Oh, thank you very much. We all do. J-Bud Max, I love you as well, mate. You fucking take care. You get better. J-Bud Max is currently injured, and I love him. Hope you feel better, dude, generally. Get a good recovery. Why do you think CIG keeps putting JPEGs and sell ideas instead of calculating release, if not right? At least close enough. But they are okay with keeping the hype, keep the money flow. Yeah, so CIG haven't changed their funding model in years. They've sort of like reinforced it. So they're going to have a concept or straight to flyable ship sale every, on average, I suppose it's 8 weeks, but typically once they get going it's every 6 weeks, and then they have like gaps in it. That's not going to change in the future, I don't think. Not for a while. The teams that do concept ships and then the integration of those ships, that's only like a tiny percentage or a small percentage of the company. They are working on other features and other parts of the game. I don't see why people that say they should stop doing that, that's a ridiculous idea. That's fucking ridiculous. That shows you don't understand that they need to make money to continue as a company. Yes, they've got a long development cycle. Yes, that's got good points and bad points. And the bad point being it takes them a long time to do stuff. They are overly rework and redo stuff. And they're not held to account in the same way they would be if they had a publisher and went self-publishing. But that is why they are making a lot of money. And that is part of their model. Like, come on. We need to check Discord. Okay. Check Discord DMs. Oh. Cool. That's an original. Cool. Okay. So done the contrast and the brightness very aggressively, so we can see sort of like more of the outline of the ship. People want to see that. Bam, bam. Thanks, Alfred. Much appreciated. See a bit more of the outline there. Got a little crab arms at the back. Crab people. Little praying mantis arms. I hope they're raised. Bam, bam. You're right, Flymo. Crytek, in my opinion, has reasons to be upset. Can you explain why, Bob? I'm fine with you having that opinion. So I can see the reasons they would be upset. I can't see a reason that they sue. So they can be upset because CIG took a load of their staff members. CIG changed engine. They wanted to get a load of, critical acclaim for their engine because Star Citizen was using it. What Star Citizen do you think's next? Pyro. Pyro or Magnus, but probably Pyro, and they'll slowly or quickly link that to the Odin system, would be my expectation. Magnus is also a good shout because it's quite a simple system, so they can do Pyro and Magnus pretty easily. They are also proximate to the Stanton system. I'm going to jump off in a little bit because there's going to be the Star Citizen Live, which we will then immediately host. In about half an hour, that will start. When will we see the Polaris? I mean, I'd like to see the Polaris sooner rather than later. It's a cool combat torpedo-based corvette. I really love the idea of it. I don't know when though. Probably by the end of next year. Do you think the Idris M will be a great multi-role ship with med bays, hangar, brig, railgun, heavy armor, cargo scanning, all good round ship to see in the PU? Well, for a capital ship, yeah. For a frigate, frigates, I suppose, would be relatively all round in a lot of senses. But yeah, I think the Idris M will be a solid ship. But it is a capital ship, so multi-role for a capital ship. Yeah, Dragonaut, Dragomunt. ME means not just the current topic, right? I'm curious about physicalized components. Yeah, it can be about anything about Star Citizen or Squadron 42, or about me, or about mental health, or whatever, I suppose. Might not necessarily be able to answer it. I'm curious about physicalized components, because they affect combat. I would expect them to be in for Squadron 42, but there's nothing on the roadmap. Actually, I suppose physicalized components can be heavily faked if they wanted to for Squadron 42. They're much more important for multiplayer, because I doubt in Squadron 42 you'll be customizing your ship much. You might have some customization of your ship, or choice of ship, but I don't expect it to be that much if you can. Yeah, I would hope that they'd have physicalized components by then. because it would make the combat better, in my opinion, because you'd be disabling ships. They could sort of fake it a lot more because it's single player. So physicalized components will allow for your an actual physical presence for your shield battery and for your each individual component on your ship, which can be removed, can be individually destroyed and damaged, changed, upgraded, and also subcomponents in those as well. You can change them in and out, repair these things by hand, and that sort of stuff. It's incredibly important for Star Citizen, and they are working on it. So I think Terrapin's going to be the first ship to have fully physicalized components, and it shouldn't be too far off. But yes, I would hope and expect that for Squadron 42, but it's possible that it's not essential for it. Do you think the upcoming release of the Cutlass Red is an indication of progress being made on medical gameplay? Potentially. What I'd like to see in the short term is actually these sort of medical ships be respawn points for your party. And they don't have to like constantly allow constant respawns or anything, but maybe like every minute someone can spawn there or something. But in the short term, I really like that because that allows you to do a lot more sandboxy gameplay. I think we, in the not too distant future, are going to have the ability to jab medipens into people, get them up off the floor, have people get knocked down, that sort of stuff. They were working on that a while ago. They moved it off the roadmap, but I do think it's quite important. 2 hours for live stream? What? Star Citizen. No, 5 PM UTC. So that's 30 minutes. Less than 30 minutes. I'm not sure if you're actually referring to what I was saying earlier or not, because I'm always behind in the chat. It really is like a family. It sounds weird at first, but that's just the way it is. Not a marketing tactic. So, are you talking? Oh, you're talking about your org. Okay. I was hoping you weren't talking about how sales work in Star Citizen or like how gameplay works in Star Citizen in general. I was like, that's a dangerous thing to say because you don't want it to be like a family who buys ships together, because then you'll feel like you need to be part of that family by buying ships. That would be a dangerous marketing tactic. I think that's probably something that people say, oh, that's what Star Citizen cultists do anyway. But I'm sorry I did the silly voice. Fucking people that do silly voices are idiots when they're trying to represent a point of view that they don't like. That is a straw man argument, effectively, that I just did there. But you know what I mean? Sort of like... Apologies. How much player input do you want to see when traveling through a jump point? How difficult should it be? I would like to see very easy to travel through jump points that are mapped jump points. I'm fine with there being gameplay or it be difficult to find and map unknown jump points or new jump points. My eyes actually hurt. I've got sand in my eyes. Will medium ships fit in small jump points? We don't know how that's all going to work yet. We don't know about the sizing of jump points properly yet. We don't know about the sizing of ships. I suspect that jump points might have a meter size, so it won't be small, medium, large ships. It will be whatever the size of your ship is specifically, but we'll have to wait and see. They've previously talked about small, medium, and large jump points, but I don't know how it's going to work in the future. Oh, Malcolmy! Thank you very much. I love your face too. Thank you very much for the resub. Should we stop giving CIG money? Well, personally, individually, yes. But people want to join the project, want to buy a starter pack. I encourage that, so they have more of a say and more of a test in Star Citizen. I don't think anyone needs anything more than a starter package. If you desperately want to help fund the project and love a ship or whatever, then you've got spare money and you believe in that for some reason, yeah, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money. They sell ship-to-ship docking feature, and when it was come to release date, they say pre of requirement, if not ready. Is this fair, or is this robbery? What? Ship-to-ship docking is planned for 3.8, and I believe that will have the parasite docking. No, so CIG aren't selling you fully finished features or anything, and stuff might evolve and change. You just be aware of that before you buy anything. Don't if you don't like the idea of that, then don't buy ships from them. And to be honest, I probably wouldn't buy ships from them anyway. You'll be able to get the stuff in game. You'll be able to buy it all in game. Even in the short term, even in the alpha, you'll be able to rent and buy a lot of this stuff. So, and stuff changes. In 2015, Disco Leak, CIG hosted an internal development build of the game along with many Crytek licensed tools, along with debug files that have been used to reverse engineer the game and other tools released. Crytek didn't add that to the lawsuit, but CIG's lack of security to protect those files and keep them on a public-facing torrent would be akin to borrowing someone's lawnmower and leaving it on the front lawn to be stolen by someone else. That's a good point. I didn't actually see that either. That was obviously a leak that CIG made. I think if you actually read the contract, though, it sort of like protects them if they do something by accident. And Crytek are sort of more alleging that they did stuff on purpose or recklessly. So maybe that was kept out because of that, or maybe it's not part of that, or, you know. That's a good point. There was that big leak. But Amir, as I said earlier to your thing, it's stuff that gets reprioritized and changed, or the changing of ships. That's not fair. No. Is it robbery? No, but it's not fair. Will the Venture Titan ever get a weapons and armor rack? I would expect so. Yes, at least a weapons rack. Do you think base building will be very basic or similar to a No Man's Sky base building mechanics? So I think it will be basic in the sense that you can build particular modules or particular types of structure with the Pioneer, blah, 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 blah. But I also suspect there will be placement of other objects within there. So some furniture maybe, some other extra smaller buildings and that sort of stuff that will be placed. I don't think it's going to be sort of like run around modular building everywhere. But I suspect there will be a good level of customization. How do you think we'll have a medic like by defibrillator and revive fallen members during FPS? So I think there's going to be medical gameplay where you will be able to get people back up on their feet. I actually think that's one of the things they want Medipens to be able to do. They're not going to heal you, they're just going to be able to get you back up for a while until you get healed. Yeah, I do suspect there will be medical gameplay for field medics, getting people back up and stuff. I'm not sure to what extent, though. Do you think the VG will have any... The Vanguard? The Vanguard will have any chance against the F8. It seems it's lightly armed in comparison. I think they're two different ships for two different things, and yes, I do think they'll have chances against each other. Depends on where they're fighting and things like that. Do you think CIG should wake up and finish anything in the project? Ships mechanics. Yeah, I want them to bring all the core elements together by the end of this year. I want them to get Squadron 42 released, and then I want them to get a fully persistent Star Citizen out as soon as possible, so that I can start playing it and accruing things in it. And I want them to make the game, bring everything together.
Tricksy little hobbitses.
Thank you very much. Tracking. KS. We'll call you KS. Thank you very much for donating a sub. Thank you very much. Dominic, congratulations for receiving a sub. I can't really do Boris Johnson's voice. So he like mumbles and goes, filibustering. Yeah, that's not the poppycock. What's your most hated ship in the game? The Reliant. I just don't like I don't like its price point. I don't like what it's used for. I don't like it the way it flies. I don't like its armament. Maybe when they have the Zen in game properly and the Mako in game properly, as in having fully functional mechanics, maybe I like them more. Why are you suggesting CIG build a game for free? You're not talking to me, I'm assuming. The game is buy to play, and people can choose to continue to purchase ships if they want. and they are more than entitled to do that. I don't think you need to do that, but yeah. People building the game need to be paid. If you don't want to help build the game, then don't buy ships. Oh, you're not talking to me, you're talking to someone else. Okay. I think you should do what you want with your own damn money. I don't think you need to buy any ships beyond starter pack. Do you think we'll ever get away from the on-world's quantum travel? It would be nice to quantum travel at will for exploration. I think there'll be more to quantum travel. I think maybe we'll be able to scan down points in quantum travel to them. I'm not sure if we'll have blind quantum travel anymore. Yeah, I think that a lot of people have. It's one of the reasons that people get angry at me. I think for shilling for CIG or whatever. I don't share their point of view or their understanding of why they're angry at stuff and why they go, well, we should stop giving them money because that will get the game quicker. No, it won't. That's a ridiculous thing to say. In my opinion, anyway. But in the same vein, I don't think people should spend thousands and thousands of dollars on ships unless they've got the spare disposable income and have everything else they want in their lives. They are dumb. Thanks, Heavy Bob. It's good to you're here to explain in great detail. I want them to be able to have mission sharing and be able to send money from one player to another. Yeah, I want that. And I think they should have that in already, but hopefully we're getting it soon. We know we're getting mission sharing in 3.7, but it'll probably be quite basic. But nice, a live stream. I'm pretty new to Star Citizen, living it, and its amazing potential. Your YouTube videos have seriously helped me with a steep learning curve. Appreciate the content. Keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Deadeye. Very much appreciated. So I've got loads of accounts for Star Citizen. I have typically when the new patch is released, I fly a ship to each of the major landing zones, so I have ships there ready for doing whatever content I want to do during a given day. Some of those accounts have crime stats, some don't. Why do you think they pushed the Cutlass Blue back in favour of the Cutlass Red when medical gameplay isn't in yet? Because the Cutlass Red is needed for Squadron 42. And the blue is not. I do think we will be able to play as other alien races in the future, but that will be a long way out. It's going to be humans for a long time, probably even after release. It will be a while before they allow other aliens. Do you think you have the opportunity to preach the gospel of Jesus Christ to the Xi'an and possibility of forced conversion? I think they've moved away quite a lot from religion, typically, or from traditional religion anyway. I do think there are actually organisations that can be faiths, but so I would prefer, if I was doing something like that, I'd prefer to make up a new religion for the game. I was doing roleplay for that, rather than roleplay something for now and sort of like evolve it. Do you know what I mean? Do you think we're actually going to see the modularity of the Caterpillar or remain a space trucker? Yes, Caterpillar is still going to have modularity. Oh, ludicrous! I'd be doing well, Andy, mate. Is everyone fed up with the lack of multi-crew functionality? Yeah, we wanted it for ages. Mission sharing, groups, mission stuff to do with things and people, and multi-crewing ships. But they are working on multi-crew, and I think we've got lots of multi-crew features planned for in by 4.0 and polished. I know it's Q2 2020, and that's a while off. Should have been there already, admittedly. So, will you be able to put a Ranger bike in a Vanguard ward? I believe so, but unconfirmed until we have it in the game. Any hope for a decent HOTAS? Verpal is too expensive. So the cheapest good sort of level of like the Thrust, the T16,000s from Thrustmaster. Solid solid sticks. What is this we're watching? This is the vertical slice from Squadron 42. FPS mining is almost out. But any news regarding the strip mining and the Orion? No, there's not. We know the Orion at least doubled in size. It's fucking massive now. A monster of a ship. But we don't know anything about strip mining yet. Let's have a quick look at the coming soon thing again. And then we will go off and host. So this is the latest coming soon thing for the new, what appears to be an RSI ship. Looks RSI to me. And so some people will argue that it's Anvil potentially, but I mean it looks RSI to me. Looks like the front of Constellation, but we can see here that it looks more like a fighter. We're suspecting that it's the, well, I'm suspecting it's the RSI Mantis, and it sort of like looks like it's stalking a pirate. So maybe it's a stealth ship, maybe it's an interdictor, maybe it's a E-war ship, maybe it's something like that, scanner ship. But it's almost certainly going to be a heavy fighter. That's what we expect from the Mantis. That's what it looks like here. We do not. We need dragons in game. That's true, or at least giant space lizards. Why fucking not? Is that the front or the back? I guess the left hand could be the front. I don't know. I don't know if it's the front or the back. It's a silhouette. I suspect it's the top of the ship. Board, do you have any info on when the Retaliator base will get released properly? I can't see anything on the roadmap. Also, will the Retaliator bomber be modular as well? Yes, the Retaliator bomber will be modular. You'll be able to swap out those torpedo bays. They're basically just, the Retaliator bomber is just Retaliator base with the torpedo base in. Once we have more modularity in the game, once we have modularity, I suppose, I would say more, then we'll be able to switch those out. But that will come in stages based on when they release those modules. So I would expect next year, quite genuinely, towards the end of next year, so the second half of next year, to be a big sort of like chunk of modular gameplay coming in for the Caterpillar modules and for other ship modules, and be able to swapping those things out. That would be my expectation. That is pulled from my ass, though. So bear that in mind. That just seems to make sense to me. No need to get so narky, you narky boy. Few people I know have complained about how you have to pick up each crystal in FPS mining compared to other games where you mine where it's quicker. What is your opinion on this? I need it in my hands first, and then see what it's like, and then they're going to iterate on it anyway. So. Yeah, this is quite a chonky boy, isn't it? Don't you really think that this restructured schedule is just a way to hide schedule slip? Think for a moment just how much content and mechanics still need to be added to complete the game. Yeah, but they're not hiding that. They make mistakes, they've got a slow development, and they show it on the roadmap. And they said we weren't making the deadlines. We were having to release component parts of sort of like mechanics and gameplay that wasn't finished, and then have to go back to it. So with the new Staggered development, they are going to be focusing more on getting more finalized features out before moving on to others, which makes sense. So I don't think they're hiding that. Yeah, you can argue the development is taking a long time, and that it's not appropriate to take that long, or you think they should have made more progress. Yeah, but I don't think they're trying to hide it. They're literally really transparent with it. I'm tired of $250+ ships. I'd love to see more smaller, reasonably priced ships. Yeah, I think the smaller ones are more of a problem to me because they're a slippery slope for people that have only got a starter pack, or like a starter pack on an Avenger Titan. Well, I'll just upgrade to the Arrow, or I'll just upgrade to this $150 ship. So you both get this stuff in game. So yeah, people buy it. People that are, I suppose, when they do any large microtransaction or macro transaction, they're deemed as a whale. They help fund the game massively. So you're about to get it in game. So, and it's possible that the ship will be immediately flyable. And if it's the RSI Mantis, that Star Citizen links said it could be, that was supposed to be flyable at CitizenCon. Maybe it's flyable now. Maybe it's not the RSI Mantis at all, though. First time new to Star Citizen, is it possible that Star Citizen will never be complete? That is a possibility. We could have a nuclear war. Something crazy could happen. That's a possibility. I can't see the future. I don't think that. I think that Star Citizen will get to a stage in the not too distant future where it's fully persistent and considered in beta and sort of like a live game. But I do think that they are going to constantly add more and more to Star Citizen for 10, 20 years. 10, 15 years, probably more realistically. So bear that in mind. So it's what you define as completed or finished. You define it was when it's on the shelf for release. You can say when it's a title that's got full persistence and people can play it and progression is permanent. What is the best ship to use to ram other ships that are landed? The Hammerhead. There might be. You're a monster, by the way, Bad Soviet. So I think that's probably appropriate behaviour if they're on the ground in sort of like the Wild West areas. But in Stanton, that will get you a criminal rating, is the idea. And potentially prison time and things like that in the future. Fines and stuff like that. What do you think the explanation would be for RSI making a stealth ship despite having no experience in making stealth ships? Or any company making a ship that's unusual for them? Well, they just have to justify it in law or whatever. But stealth ships, not necessarily, well, obviously they're not cloaking ships. They're just ships that have lower signatures or are built to operate with a lower signature or for a very specific purpose, which makes them more stealth-orientated, I suppose. Will we ever see a massive ship with its main guns on the side, but greater in numbers than it would be on the front? Oh, you mean sort of like a pirate ship, sort of like maybe. I mean, I suspect some of the Vandal ships might be like that. There's lots of side guns on them, and the capital ships and stuff. BoredGamer, care to theorise further on playing as alien races? Think Vandal are possible, creating a PvP war? Don't know. I think it's more likely it'll be the sort of like human cooperative races to at least to start with for a long time. I mean, in the far future, maybe they'll go, yeah, fuck it, we'll open up the Vandal. Maybe the Vandal aren't all arseholes. The Vanguard Harbinger comes with 3 size 5 torpedoes. Seems pointless as a bomber with this loadout. I agree. I'm not happy with the Harbinger on paper. Why add a second bay to other side and drop the kitchen? Why not add a second bay? Yeah, I'd like to see it maybe make it shorter range. Maybe give it larger torpedoes. How do you think they'll do the Earth considering it's 1/6 scale? Really, for Earth, all they can cover it in city. They can have some sort of oceans that you can see might kind of be continents or whatever. But really, they just need to get the landing zones correct, in my opinion. So, like, depending on what landing zones they're going to have, what Shanghai, London, Moscow, New York, just get those a bit themed. They don't have to have Earth looking anything like it does at the moment. They can have it covered in cities like ArcCorp. They could have it most of it's a no-fly zone because it's Earth, and you can only land at these specific locations. Star Citizen live in a few minutes, so we will be cutting the stream short in a second. Let's just go through the last couple of questions. RKS Drancing, Dracing, Dracking. Thank you very much. It was great catching the live stream. Here's to your good health, sir. Thank you very much for the bits. Thank you very much for all the donations and subs from everyone. Thank you. Especially Robert Johnston, because I love your fucking face. And AG and Shite. Oh my god, AG, you sent me so much fucking money. You're mad. I love you. And August doing the sponsoring the stream, basically, in the stream, not the channel this month with the giveaway. I love you. I love you. And your money. Thank you, genuinely. It is very much appreciated. Right, so look at these last few questions. We could see that coming soon ship, but maybe it will go on sale for the weekend. It looks more likely that it will go on sale for next weekend now, but thanks for the interaction board. I'm sure the game will eventually be committed to a state that's playable. Yeah, it will, but it might take a long time. And we'll see modules and more inklings of that. I mean, as they get closer to completion of Squadron 42, I think we'll get much better core components for the persistent universe as well. What org again? Ultra, the org that AG is sponsoring from. They are legendary. Well, I haven't actually played with them yet, so I'm going to hopefully play with them soon and interview them. But check them out. They are linked in all of my videos, and I linked them earlier, and I will link them again! Where did I put them? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You sent me so much money. There they are. Yeah, so Vanguards are sold as long-range heavy fighters, basically. But not necessarily dog fighters in the same way. Right. I think I love all of you. To varying degrees, based on the amount of money you've given me. Thank you very much for watching. We are going to go and host Star Citizen Live, which is all about lore this week, but it might have some interesting other little tidbits in there. Some of the lore team, they do like write things for like the mission systems and a load of the new mechanics that are coming into the game and Squadron 42 stuff. So it's not just boring things. Not just, oh, I'm not going to learn anything from the lore. Might be some cool stuff. Just bear that in mind. I love you guys. Let's slash host. Right. Love your faces. You take care. Thank you very much for all the love, the money, the dancing, chaos dancing. Sent me loads of bits as well. I don't know why. J-Bud Max, I do hope you get better soon. And yeah, if you want to further support the channel, there's links below. There's donation links. There's YouTube member links. You can sign up to Shadow and have a internet-based PC that you can stream to any device, including another PC, and then you don't have to own your own PC anymore, or you can own your own PC, but you don't have to maintain your own PC anymore. You can have a trash PC, and then just leverage the power of the super powerful PC from Shadow. There's NordVPN as well. If you want a VPN, check out NordVPN. They're good, they're cheap, they're not shit. And use BoredGamer as a code. I mean, any website you go to, they've got a little box that says, put a promotional code in. Try and pay in BoredGamer. Why the fuck not? I love you guys. Oh, and Game Glass. Game Glass are cool. I love them. Again, BoredGamer. GameGlass.gg. Little app. I fucking shill. I'm a shill. I love you. Bam. Love. Take care, guys. And I'll see you soon. Peace.